Okay, we got another video from gotquestions.org, Got Questions Ministries. I'm curious to see what this guy is going to say. I still haven't learned his name, but so far he's the most disgusting, dishonest apologist that I've come across yet. And I've come across a lot. I haven't reviewed a lot. The channel's still new, channel's still young, but I've heard a lot. This is by far the worst apologist. So the title of this video is, what does it mean to spare the rod and spoil the child? What I've always took it to mean is that if you don't hit your children, somehow they will become spoiled. And I'm going to put out a disclaimer right now. Never, ever, ever use physical force on anybody unless it's to protect yourself, but especially a child. If you have any other opinion than that, you're disgusting and you're wrong. But let's see what he has to say about it.
What does it mean to spare the rod, spoil the child? In this video, I'll answer that question from a biblical perspective. Then afterwards,
It's a biblical
as always,
phrase. Why would
I'll
you
share
answer it from another perspective?
some helpful resources, so stick around until the end. The phrase, spare the rod, spoil the child, is a modern day proverb. That means if a parent refuses to discipline an unruly child, that child will grow accustomed to getting his own way. He will become, in the common vernacular, a spoiled brat. The saying comes from Proverbs chapter 13, verse.
I mean, you're starting off a little bit misleading because you've said a parent that refuses to discipline a child. But the phrase is spare the rod. You can discipline your children, of course, but never, and I have a feeling I'm going to say this many times throughout this video, never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, use physical force against a child. Period. Are there exceptions? I mean, if he's about to endanger himself, you get the point. As a form of disciplinary action, never ever hit your child. It's pretty simple for me to say. But let's see if he gets into the actual rod part of this.
An unruly child, that child will grow accustomed to getting his own way. He will become, in the common vernacular, a spoiled brat. The saying comes from Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. He who spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is careful to discipline him. The Lord uses discipline to reveal our sin to us. This is also how parents reveal the truth of our need for a Savior to their children.
What?
When a child does not feel the consequences of his sin, he will not understand that sin requires punishment.
Point number 2. Stop indoctrinating your children. This whole concept of sin is stupid.
The Lord provides a way to salvation and forgiveness through Jesus, but that means little to those who do not see their sin. Furthermore, correction shows us that we are not above reproach and that we are accountable for our actions. Our natural pride blinds our need for a Savior, and discipline reveals the truth of our wretchedness. Since salvation is the most important
dude,
choice
get
the
on
child
with
will
it.
ever make, it is imperative that parents are leading him to Christ, and discipline is critical to this process.
I guess I'm a little confused. Is he saying that in the case of discipline, you should discipline your child when he's straying away from the path to Christ? Or is he saying that if your child is doing something that maybe he ought not be doing, you should discipline separate from his would it be a sin if your child was about to swallow some aspirin? Like, is that a sin? Well, no, but you should take some disciplinary action to ensure that the child doesn't try to swallow aspirin again. But I wouldn't consider that a sin. Or is he talking about both? Or is he just saying you should only discipline when he's straying from Christ? I don't know. I'm confused.
Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13 says, do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish him with the rod, he will not die. In the context of verses 13
Okay, yes, don't kill. Experiencing a spiritual death, I don't know about that. But yeah, so don't kill your children. That's great.
and 14, die means experience spiritual death in hell. Children who respect authority and feel sorrow for their sin are much more likely to ask Jesus to forgive them and be saved.
Shut
All
up. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Children who feel sorrow for their sins. Stop indoctrinating your children. Just stop it. Let them become Christians on their own. Let God make them Christians. Just stop indoctrinating your children. All children are born
children
sinful.
are born sinful. They're natural.
So if all children are born sinful and they haven't reached the age where they have been able to accept Jesus Christ as their Savior and forgiveness for their sins, what happens to them?
Natural self is destructive and unrighteous. That does not mean they aren't valuable and worthy of love. It means
Wow, okay. In case you need to be told, children are valuable and worthy of love. If that's something you didn't already know, this guy feels the need to point that out. Thank you for your wisdom. We all appreciate it.
means that they are not born with any natural goodness in them. That is why all children need discipline. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15 says, "Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him."
This is incredibly
Discipline
boring.
is critical for wisdom, and a child who obeys his parents will be wise. And even adults who do not
Children who obey their parents will be wise. That is not necessarily true at all. There's absolutely terrible parents out there who should definitely not obey their and the children should not. You get what I'm saying. Some people are stupid.
heed correction will feel the
This guy makes the best facial expressions on pausing.
consequences of their foolishness. Some people believe in discipline, but not in physical discipline such as spanking.
Never, ever, ever use physical force on a child, especially as disciplinary action. Stop it. You're disgusting.
However, the Bible is the final word on what is truth. It is not merely opinion or theory.
If this person is about to advocate for the use of physical force as disciplinary action for a child, I'm going to lose my mind. So he goes from saying,
The Bible is the final.
let's go back just a little bit, and even adults. Okay, we'll start here.
Some people believe in discipline, but not in physical discipline such as
Some people believe in discipline, but not in physical discipline such as spanking. But
spanking. However, the
Bible is the final word on what is truth. It is not opinion or theory. Yes, it is. It's definitely opinion, and I wouldn't consider it theory, but it's definitely opinion.
Bible is the final word on what is truth. It is not merely opinion or theory. The word rod indicates a thin stick or switch that can be used to give a small amount of physical pain with no lasting injury. A child should never be bruised, injured, or cut by a physical correction.
Oh, okay. I said it in my last video that this was the most disgusting apologist that I've heard yet. And I didn't think my opinion of him could get much lower. But this guy is a piece of shit. An absolute monster. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, use physical force as disciplinary action against a child. You sack of shit.
The Bible warns that parents should never abuse the power and authority they have over their children while they are young because it provokes the children to righteous anger. Physical discipline is always done in love.
Shut the oh my physical discipline is always done in love. Um I'll just say one more time. Never use physical force to discipline a child. Oh my god.
Love. Never as a vent to the parent's frustration. It is also just one part of discipline. And
If you use physical force against your child, you're venting your frustration. End of story. Period. Never use this guy's got my blood boiling, man. Wow. Okay.
should be used when the child shows defiance to a clear limit, not in the heat of the moment. God instructs parents to parent their children the way he parents his children. Hebrews
Never parent your child in the way that God parents his children. That's pretty awful too. Wow. What's this guy's name? How is this video? Okay. Anyway,
chapter
let's keep
12,
going.
verses 5 through 11 tells us that God disciplines those whom he loves to perfect their righteousness. God only disciplines his own, which proves that Christians are his beloved children. Notice that David says that the Lord's rod comforts him in his time of trouble. Psalm chapter 23, verse 4. Finally, we know that
That sounded a little that sounded a little risque there. The Lord's rod comforts him in his time of trouble.
discipline
Catholic?
feels good while it is happening, but afterwards the rewards are rich. Godly character, fruit of the Spirit, and peace are rewards of God's discipline. The same is true for our human children. Children who have learned how to take responsibility for their actions are much happier people. The importance of the rod of correction is that it steers the heart of a child towards Jesus and the
No. If you're currently using physical force to discipline your child, stop. You're disgusting. You're a monster. Stop it immediately. The importance of the rod of correction is it steers at a heart. Okay.
rod of correction is that it steers the heart of a child towards Jesus and the forgiveness of sin he offers. When parents trust God's
this is where Christians claim to derive their morality from. This is the moral arbiter of this is who is written the moral code, written it on your heart. This is the person that they go to for their foundation for morality. Never use physical force as a disciplinary action on a child. Oh my God.
over their own, they will see the blessings for their children and themselves. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't.
I don't want to learn more. I don't even know if I can cover cover videos from this this disgusting human being anymore. His apologetics for slavery were awful. His use of the word adoption was repugnant. His advocation to use physical force of any form as a disciplinary action on a child is monstrous. I'm going to end this video with saying one last time, never use physical force on a child as a disciplinary action. Disgusting.